Hey guys, it's Christine. Welcome if you are new here, if it's your first time. I'm mama to 3 little ones and I run a couple blogs. I work from home and I'm passionate about helping moms find joy in motherhood and fulfillment and empowerment and all those big feel-good words. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the difference between the sleep training methods of Babywise and Moms on Call. And I've actually done videos on both of these in the past, which I will try and link somewhere here for you to go check out. But for those of you who are specifically wanting to know how they're different, this video is for you. As per usual, there is a blog post that goes along with this with more detail and like links to products and things like that. So I'll have that in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go and check that out. But let's just jump into it. So the first difference between the Babywise method and the Moms on Call method, they're both sleep training methods. And the number one difference is the sleep training in general in regards to crying or allowing your baby to cry, because sleep training isn't cry it out. Like, you can let your baby cry it out as part of a sleep training method, but that is not sleep training in and of itself. You know, like, sleep training to me, the definition of it is establishing healthy sleep habits. So yeah, there's a lot more to it than just letting your baby cry. So anyway, I just wanted to point this out because there's often misunderstanding about Babywise, and like, people say that Babywise tells you to leave your baby to cry. It never does. Like, it does say that letting your baby cry will not harm them, but barely touches on the subject. I think there's like a couple of sentences in the entire book, and it's something to the effect of allowing your baby to cry up to 15 minutes won't do them any harm, and during those 15 minutes, you're being attentive and checking on them and, you know, making sure all their needs are met and comforting them if necessary, that kind of thing. That's about it. And that's all Babywise says on the subject. So it's very much up to your own parental discretion. They leave it up to you. Moms on Call, on the other hand, has very detailed plans on how to implement the use of allowing your baby to cry. And their terminology for it is soothing rounds. So they teach you to use this method to get your baby to fall asleep on their own and to structure the night feeds. And I've also got a blog post on this. I don't think I've done a video on it, but essentially you set a certain amount of time that you are going to let your baby cry for, and then you go in and soothe them, and then you repeat the process up to 3 times, and then you feed them after that. So yeah, I will be doing another video on that. That'll go up at some point and you can have more details on it, but that's the difference between Babywise and Moms on Call. One barely touches on the topic of allowing your baby to cry, and the other one goes into quite a lot of detail. The next difference is all about the eat-wake sleep cycle. So both methods are very pro independent sleep skills and teaching your child to, you know, put themselves to sleep without your interference, essentially. However, I found that Babywise is very clear on establishing a pattern called eat-wake sleep. So essentially, your baby eats, then they have a little bit of playtime, and then they go to sleep. And that cycle goes over and over and over again until nighttime, when they have a big long stretch of sleep. And it's very much about establishing it so that they're not falling asleep while they're eating, so they don't like link the two and create a bit of a crutch. And also it means that if they're eating when they wake up, then they're happy for the rest of their wake time, or happier, because you don't want a baby that is hungry and grouchy. Moms on Call does talk about not associating the bottle with sleep, but not as much. And I want to say that in their bedtime routine, I'm like, this is just like jogging my memory now because it's been a while since I had a newborn. In their newborn routine, I'm pretty sure the bottle is the last thing that happens before bed, and so technically you could associate that. Your baby could form an association there. So they are very strict on establishing independent sleep skills, but there's not nearly as much focus on like a specific rhythm throughout the day in that sense. Like, they do give you times to feed your baby, but like, yeah, it's just different. Babywise is very much focused on the eat-wake sleep cycle. Like, I would even say that is probably the core principle of the whole sleep training method. The third thing that is different is the dream feed, and Babywise talks about a dream feed. It's something that they advocate you doing in the fairly early along. I think it's like an 11 p.m. dream feed maybe. Moms on Call does not advocate doing a dream feed at any point. And that is where I, with my babies, I did it differently. Like, I didn't just stick to Moms on Call. I did implement some Babywise as well, because my kids needed that late night feed in order to get through, just until they were about 3-4 months, and then they could drop it and they were able to sleep the full 12 hours. But I liked it because it meant I wasn't getting up in the middle of the night. I could feed them, or even my husband, because they were bottle fed, or you could pump. I did that with my firstborn. I would pump and he would do that late night feed, and it meant that I could go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then often wouldn't have to get up till like 1, 2, 3. So I got like a solid chunk of sleep and felt like an actual human. So Moms on Call, I think their last night feed is like 9:30, and then it changes depending on the routine. Whereas Babywise, you do like a 7, 9, and then maybe 11 o'clock feed in the early days. I always did something a little different because my kids, 2 out of 3 were formula fed, and they didn't need feeds as frequently, but I'm pretty sure that that's how their schedule is. So the dream feed is a Babywise thing, not a Moms on Call thing. The fourth thing is nap troubleshooting, and this is where Babywise goes into a lot more detail. If there are issues with naps, they've got like a whole section where they give you different like tips and tricks and things to try in order to help your baby nap better. One of the big things that they advocate is like not having too long of a wake time for your baby, so having age appropriate wake times. I think for newborns that's anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour. My babies were always around the 30 to 45 minute mark for those first early weeks, and then like different things like not rocking them to sleep. There's like outside environmental factors, you know, the lighting in their room, the temperature of the room, that kind of thing. They go through all of that and they really help you out. Moms on Call didn't go into that so much, but you'll find out why in the next point. Moms on Call does give you some troubleshooting, but it's not as much. It's not as in detailed as Babywise is. And then the fifth and final thing that I can come up with, there's probably more, but is the difference in the books. And Moms on Call is not just a sleep training method. It's very much a comprehensive baby care book. So it's written by 2 pediatric nurses with a lot of experience, and they share lots of baby care tips in general, like feeding, sleeping, baby care, like health, what to do if they're sick, all the different things you should stock up ahead of time, you know, before you have your baby, how to bathe your baby. Like, they go into a lot of detail on that kind of stuff. Babywise does talk about tracking like wet diapers and feeds and things like that, and when you should like seek medical attention, but they don't go into like baby care as a whole. They do talk a little bit about burping and stuff, but that's mainly because it's to do with feeding and the eat, wake, sleep cycle. So there is a big difference there, and I think that's why perhaps Moms on Call doesn't go so much into like the sleep troubleshooting, because it's not the main focus of their book, although it is a big focus. And I would say that most mums who follow the Moms on Call book, they did it because of the sleep. Like, yeah, that's why. So those are the main differences I found between the two methods. Which one is better? I cannot say, because honestly, I think they're both really great. I've used both of them in conjunction with each other, and I think they complement each other really, really well. They don't really contradict, I wouldn't say. I do think that Moms on Call is more cut and dry. Like, it's just like, here's a plan, follow it. You need to be able to use your parental discretion. You know, like if something doesn't sit right with you, you need to not do it, you know? Whereas Babywise, I do feel like they really put the onus on you, and it's like, well, this is what we recommend, but there's always a but, you know? And so, yeah, that I will say that those are kind of the two differences between them in that sense. But I do think they're both worth having. I would recommend them both to any new mom who wants to sleep train, or, you know, I don't like the word sleep training because it's got such a negative connotation, but if you want to teach your baby how to sleep in their own space, on their own, without you having to sit there and rock them all throughout the day, then these books are great for you. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine. You don't have to read the books, but they are books that I would recommend, and I love them, and I'm so thankful for what they've done for our family, because my kids sleep like superstars, and it is amazing. So I would not be able to do half of what I do if they didn't do that. I'd be a walking zombie, like, and a horrible, horrible person. It's hard enough being a happy mama with sleep, so I can't even imagine functioning on like fumes. It'd be crazy. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this overview of the two. Check out the blog post, I'll have it linked down below. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.